And welcome back to the show where we continue our look at Glamfest by now talking to the band that are headlining this year's Glamfest, a band that we know that so many of you, including myself, are so excited about having in Australia for the very first time. We've actually got Dana from Slaughter on the phone right now. Welcome to the program, mate.
Thank you, thank you. Speaking to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, the home of the U.S. Super Bowl that I'm going to miss the traffic of, thank goodness, while I'm flying to Melbourne.
How crazy is it in Vegas at the moment, of course, with the Super Bowl about to happen? Is it getting crazy there right now?
Oh, absolutely. I came in at the airport from tour dates, and there was Super Bowl stuff everywhere, and the military presence, police presence, the amount of security is over the top. And when I first moved to Vegas, if somebody told me that there'd be a Super Bowl with two championship NFL teams, I would have laughed at them. But, it's a really cool vibe. And we saw the teams getting transported in buses, 16 motorcycle police around them, really crazy stuff don't normally see.
So tell us a little bit about living in Vegas, of course, because that's your hometown now. What was it that made you want to move to Vegas, and what's it like living in Vegas?
You definitely have to be a controlled person. If you're out of control and you party too much, or temptations get the best of you, you have the ability to lose absolutely everything within days. And I've met people and had people in studios in Vegas that couldn't stay because they lost everything.
Yep.
And I said, well, for God's sakes, just stop it. And but once you're addicted, and if you've got a problem, it gets the best of you. Other than that, if you can control yourself, it's hot. It can get 115 Fahrenheit on a regular basis. You need air conditioning, and you need a swimming pool, and you need self-control, and you need to think. If you can do those things, it's a kick in the ass.
Yeah.
If you can't do those things, visit and leave.
Now, talking about a kick in the ass, well, Glamfest has got such an amazing lineup this time around. Of course, Slaughter headlining. This is your first time in Australia. I really couldn't believe that when I read that, because I've been in love with your music since I was in high school. Couldn't believe it was your first time in Australia. So tell us a little bit about how you feel about heading to Australia for the first time to headline Glamfest.
We were asked, and I was flattered. I was grateful. I was thankful. And then I asked an honest question. Are there enough people there that like the Slaughter stuff to support this? And Danny, the promoter, kind of laughed at me a little bit. And he said, trust me, there is. And I said, well, I don't know. I'm asking a really honest question. I don't want to see you lose or anything else, to bring us over. And he said, look, there's a lot of people that love what you guys do, and that also can't believe you've never been here. And I said, well, the truth, we were never asked. So I'm very thankful that we were asked, and it's really exciting to bring the stuff that we do over there and let everybody there kind of live like you would live here seeing it.
Well, I don't think you've got anything to... I don't think you've got anything to worry about, because you are well and truly loved here. I know growing up in high school there were Slaughter cassettes and Slaughter CDs being passed around everywhere. There were patches, there were t-shirts. You are definitely loved here.
Well, I appreciate that. And, because we wrote it, produced it, and recorded it ourselves, it means even more. To us, because we were so hands-on from the beginning. If you like the music and you like the way it sounds, we did it. And if you hate the music and don't like the way it sounds, we did it. So, we own up to it. But it's really, really wonderful after all of this time to see people enjoy the songs and watch each person because they saw pictures or something. And, I'm grateful and thankful.
What does it mean to you as a performer when you come to a country like Australia for the first time and give people that Slaughter live experience for the first time? Does that feel something special for you as well?
Oh, 1,000%. If you've never been somewhere and you don't know what to expect or not to expect, it's a feeling like you're having sex with someone for the first time. And I think everybody out there knows what that's like. You're excited, but you're anxious and you're not sure. And all those things together can often be a great thing. So it's really an exciting. It makes you feel 17 years old again. I mean, every one of us was a kid in a bedroom with a dream, and I'm grateful that that dream came true. So yeah, it's super exciting. We've played the same places often, big buildings and arenas, or large casinos or smaller places. And we played many of them in the U.S. 20 times,
Yep.
maybe more. This is the first time, so it's kind of a de-virginizing experience, but one that we're all really grateful and excited about.
Does that change your set list as well? Like, you've got so many amazing tracks there that fans expect to hear, but when you're playing in a territory for the first time, does that change the way you put that set list together?
Well, it's funny you say that because the first time you go, you want everybody to hear everything you believe that they know. So we would study the Sound Exchange top 10 tracks that were streamed, downloaded. We studied the YouTube list, the top 10, top 12 tracks that are, and we like, well, obviously, if those are the ones that people are downloading and listening to, not in 1990 and 91 when they came out, but if they're listening to those now in 23 and 24, then we should make sure we do those. So we will usually throw in a nuance every night because it's fun and it's fresh and because everybody's playing live, so we can. But we really do want to make sure that everybody gets to hear all that great core stuff because, again, we've never played there at all. So we want to make sure, like, look, we've done this stuff and everybody's really enjoyed it. You see people singing and relishing as though it was 1990 when it first came out, and it's an incredible feeling.
Yeah, you mentioned 1990 there, and of course that's when your first album came out. Back then, did you ever imagine that 30, 35 years later, the band would still be touring and going strong? Like, was that something that you even thought about back then?
It's a really great question, and the answer is anyone that tells you that they thought that this many years later you would be touring, talking about that music, or doing an interview about what that may or may not have been like, I think is full of shit.
Yeah.
I barely could project a year or two down the road, and if it lasted a year or two, I was grateful that I had that chance. If it lasted 3 or 4 years, I was 3 or 4 times grateful. And I thought, if we can get to 5, 6 years, what an amazing thing. Now, the first decade, I thought, be careful of what you wish for, because that shit's just happened. and, when you get to 20 years, you're like, wow, where did it go? 30 years, you're like, just unbelievable. So, no, man, I don't think anybody would be being overly honest if they said they knew when they recorded stuff that they'd be playing it 30 plus years later. I certainly didn't, and I don't think any of the guys in the band ever did.
Did you have a feeling, though, that some of the tracks were something special? Like, Up All Night has become a synonymous kind of party track. Spend My Life has been a track that I've heard people play at weddings. It means so much to them. Were you aware of that, at least, that so many of these songs had a special thing about them that would make them so well loved?
That's another really great question, and thank you for doing your homework and enjoying the music. It's obvious you do, or you wouldn't have asked some of these things, and so thank you. I believed when I first heard the rough of Up All Night, and I looked at Mark, and I said, look, man, if this doesn't do it, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what the fuck will. And I'm out of ideas if this doesn't blow through, and these recordings and sounding like this, and they're worked on. Same thing with Spend My Life. I thought, I have a feeling, if this goes, I think it's special. And then Fly to the Angels, Uh, when we stayed up for a couple of days, pretty much straight, doing the guitar layering on Flight of the Angels. And at the end of it, when I put all the guitars up on the console and Mark and I were sitting there beat up, tired, I mean, the hair was standing up on my arms. And I said, I know I've said this before, but if this doesn't go, I think we should quit. I don't know what will go if this doesn't go. And I said, and I don't know that I have a choice. So I'm going to go on record as saying, if this stuff doesn't work, I don't know what else to do.
Yep. Wow, it's so amazing. And like I said, those songs mean so much to people. I'm sure you are going to see people here in Australia with tears in their eyes when they hear those songs live for the first time, especially your true fans. Now, I wanted to also ask, what does it mean to you to be part of such an amazing lineup for Glamfest? Because, of course, bands like Taiketo, this is their first time here as well. We've had Heat on the show. They're so excited about coming. What does that mean to you to be part of such an amazing lineup like we're seeing at Glamfest this year?
I think, number one, we're thankful. And number two, we're grateful to all of the bands for having the courage to hang in there and do what they dreamt of when they were a kid. And I can't wait to hear some of it myself. I mean, I enjoy all of it. All of us are fans of this genre of music. We all love this genre of music. We really wrote what we loved and what we hope people would relate to. And Danny's put together one fuck of a concert. And from the guy, which was me, that asked him if any of this was going to work and if it's cool and I don't want you to lose, I'm really proud that he had the courage to do what he's done. And we can call it the courage or the insanity to bring all of us there. We'll see which one. It's probably both.
Now, I've got to ask, this is a question I've been asking all the bands, but is there anything that you're looking forward to doing away from the stage while you're in Australia?
Again, seeing a different country and seeing the customs and traditions and the everyday life of people in a place that for us is literally around the other side of the world is always uplifting, and it's exciting to see anything from food that's eaten to how they speak and how their mannerisms are. It's as foreign as someone that's never been to the U.S. I wonder what it's really like, or I wonder what Vegas is really like. Everybody should realize we all feel just that same way about Australia. Yep. We don't know. So it's going to be really fascinating to see.
Well, mate, I know we're running out of time very, very quickly. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. It means so much to have you on the show. Like I said, I've been in love with your music ever since I was in high school, and so it's been a huge honour having you on the show, and we can't wait to see you in Australia in a couple of weeks' time. So to finish off, what would you like to say to our listeners out there before they go out and grab tickets to these amazing nights that you guys are headlining?
Well, number one, I'd like to say thank you for supporting this music over all of these years. I think you guys will be absolutely thrilled to hear songs that you've never been able to hear live right there in your hometowns. And thank you for supporting all of these bands and everyone behind the scenes that's involved in this. And there's a great many that are involved in this. And everybody is grateful, thankful, and humbled by you guys welcoming us there. And we're going to kick your ass with fun.